If you're in the market for a new home and you're considering building a new construction home, stop! Don't do another thing until you watch this video. What's up, guys? My name is Anthony LaBorde and I am your YouTube realtor here in Atlanta, Georgia. If it's your first time to my channel, please go ahead and subscribe. Go ahead and hit that like button while you're at it. On this channel, I make videos about living, working, playing here in Atlanta, Georgia. And every single day, I'm hearing from more and more people all over the world. Just this morning, I had a Zoom call with a client living in Tokyo, Japan, moving back to the States and wanted to talk about Atlanta. We had a great call, did it early this morning. It was late in the evening there, but it was super cool. We had a great time, got to meet them. Great meeting you, by the way. Can't wait for you guys to get here and to get this process started, but I'm meeting people all over the world. I'd love to meet you. If you're thinking about buying, selling, investing, playing around in the real estate market, or just want to know more about Atlanta, please pass along my information or shoot me a text, give me a call. We'll set up a Zoom call, we'll jump on the phone together, talk through all your questions, the timeline, specifics of your house, and we will get you moved here. However, in this video, we're talking about new construction. If you watched any of my other stuff, I talk a lot about new builds, especially with the market the way that it is, and coming out of 2020, going into 2021, new construction seemed to be the most viable option because of our inventory was so low and the market was getting so competitive. So many people started going over to new construction. Now, the first quarter of the year, things seemed to be okay, but then the delays of last year, the backup of the lumber, the appliances, the back orders, everything started catching up, and it started catching up to the builders. And what it was doing was it was driving their costs through the roof. So lumber prices were going up, the prices on appliances were going up. Then you got all the delays and all the shipping, so it pushed construction schedules back. Well, the prices just kept going up and up and up. And now we're starting to see this perfect storm of all this stuff coming together, and it is bad for buyers. So in this video, we're talking about the number of things that can go wrong in the new build process. And one of the things I'm going to talk about is how many of the builders are doing their best to get the agents out of the scene. Now, I get it. I'm a businessman. Profit margin is king. That's why we do business. We want that profit margin so that we can reinvest back into our business. And it's the same with the builders. They want to make a profit. And when that profit starts to shrink, you look for ways to cut your costs. So one of the costs is the agent fees. So there's a number of ways they're doing that, but I cannot warn you enough on not to go down this path. And in this video, we're going to talk about why. Let's get started. So before I get into some of the issues that I've seen with contracts and the contract negotiations and how that has backfired on buyers, ultimately even losing their houses, losing the contracts, paying tens of thousands of dollars extra in fees, I want to run through a list of things that I personally have seen in the last couple of years with my inspectors. So I look at structural issues, appliances, roofing, staining, moisture, those types of long-term problems that could potentially be large investments later down the road. So this is just a list of some of the things that I've came across, and I want to reinforce the importance of having a realtor or an inspector or a third party look at this house prior to closing on it. Now, typically you have the opportunity to do a final walkthrough. Now, on a new construction, most of the time the final walkthrough is done with, guess who? The builder. But you definitely want to get a third party inspector in there to look at their house, and here's the reason why. So improper grading, which causes more erosion around the sides of the house. And we have poor flooring installation. Get this, an incomplete construction where they literally just didn't finish building something. Poor paint jobs, interior and exterior. We had dirty duct systems, improper plumbing hookups, wrong appliance installation, doors not closing. Last week where we went through a final walkthrough and the back door wouldn't even close. The back door to outside wouldn't close. How they even got to that part of the process and didn't fix that, I have no idea. Floor and wall scratches, I see this a lot because the floors and walls are installed and then they continue to do construction. So you got the contractors walking around with their ladders, with their bags, with their paint buckets, and you're gonna get scratches in there. So you need to have that final walkthrough, a thorough final walkthrough. Windows not closing, ran into that before too. A lot of times that's a foundation issue, which we had that on the list, that we ran into a foundation issue where things were a little bit lopsided. It had been settling for quite some time. Going back to the delays in the construction process, that house took so much longer to build than what they anticipated. They ended up having some settling, and it affected the foundation, which affected the doors and the windows. And when you get that kind of off-center or not level foundation, that's some of the things you run into. Siding issues, heating and cooling systems, cracks and gaps in the decks and patios. We had basement foundation issues, I just mentioned that. And also ran into actual mold in a basement one time. Some moisture had got down there during construction, and again, delays in the process, and ended up growing some mold in there. So it is vitally important that you have an inspector, that you have another agent, you have another set of eyes. If you have a contractor in your family, you want to bring them along in that final walkthrough. Love you guys, you builders. I know you're working your tails off and building new homes, but sometimes, you know, we are not in your best interest, and a lot of these things gets overlooked. So those are just a few of the things that I have personally run into in the last couple of years with new construction and dealing with inspections and making sure that my buyers got the house that they paid for, a brand new house that's brand new. But I want to switch gears for a second and give you some examples of what I've been running into that's hurting the buyers on the contract side. The builders, you know, with the market the way that it is, and again, I'm gonna get slammed for some of this stuff on here, but it's stuff that I see personally. The builders are being greedy. Let's just be honest about it. The builders are being super, super greedy right now. They're taking advantage of the market. They know that buyers are struggling on the resale market and are considering the new construction. So they are arbitrarily keeping the prices where they're at. They're driving down that, or they're driving up that demand, and keeping the production down, which drives up those costs. And I'll give you some examples here. So basically they're dictating what you can do with your home for forever. Again, these are stipulations, small print, and again, the importance of having another set of eyes on that contract. And this is some examples. So one of them is, it stated that you cannot rent the home in the 2 years after the close date. So any during that time, you can't rent the home at all to anybody, any portion of the home or anything, or you could potentially lose that home. And I'm not joking when I say that. They write this in the contract that they have the right to take that home back from you if you break any of these rules. Now, granted, it's a binding contract. So if you sign it, you are held to that. Now, many subdivisions, many of the neighborhoods, especially here in Atlanta, they have rent restrictions on them already, meaning that you can only have X amount of renters, or a certain percentage of homes can be rented out in a subdivision. And I get that. Notoriously, renters trash homes. They're not the best tenants. They don't take the care of the lawn and the curb appeal and the interior of the house like a homeowner will. So many subdivisions, they limit that so that they limit that potential damage on. Another one is, and this one blew me away, if for any reason you decide to sell the home in the future at any given time, you can't just go put that home on the resale market, make a profit, and then go live someplace else. You're required, now again, this is not all contracts, but I came across this on a builder, and I won't call them out, but you're required to sell that home back to the builder. That's insane. Guess what that price is gonna be? It's not gonna be fair market value. You're gonna be required to sell that home back to the builder, who's gonna turn around and make another monster profit off of that. So just pure insanity. Oh, this is great. If there's any disagreement, and I'm quoting, if there's any disagreement between the builder, you, or the contract, they can terminate that contract and take back the house at any given point. Now, this is prior to close date, so if you have any disagreement during the construction process, and if you disagree with any of this stuff that I'm covering here, you could potentially lose your house. And the builders, they don't have to give your earnest money back. So think about that. So in a resale market, we have a due diligence period. There's certain milestones that you get through during the sales process that you can still get your earnest money back. And the earnest money is a good faith deposit that goes towards your closing costs or your down payment. So you get that back at the end of the sale. Well, a lot of these contracts, they don't require the builder to return their earnest money. So for any reason, they'll just terminate your contract, and you just lost, I don't know, $5,000, $10,000, $15,000, depending on how much the earnest money is. So again, just pure insanity. Oh, and if you were to get your earnest money back, let's say it's a super kind builder who has a heart and he's empathetic and he says, okay, we'll give you your money back. Don't think that you're gonna get that anytime soon. The soonest that I have seen somebody get their earnest money back from a builder or a terminated contract is a minimum of 60 days. So let's say you paid $15,000. You could probably use that $15,000 in the next 60 days, But no, not with the builder. They just drag their feet, they do whatever they want, and at some point in the future, a couple of months down the road, we'll give you your money back. Another stipulation I came across was at any given point during the construction process, the builder has the right to replace any material in your house with a cheaper, inexpensive material. And you just sign the contract to agree with that. So all this high-end whatever, maybe quartz countertops or granite or whatever type of material you've chosen that's a high-end luxury type of material, if the costs go up or for whatever reason, if the builder just decides they don't want to use that anymore, you signed a contract that says they can just replace it for any reason whatsoever. And if you disagree, you could lose your house. Another one that I came across was what I call false incentives. So many times when doing a new construction, they give you quite a bit of incentives, mainly to use their lender. You know, they have that relationship with their lender, so they'll punish you for using a third-party lender, which when I say punish, they'll jack up your earnest money. Like, you can use your third-party lender, but your earnest money is now $25,000 versus using our lender over here, which is $5,000 earnest money. So they give you different incentives. Well, one of them that I came across was a percentage incentive. What I mean by that is in the contract they wrote, we will give you 10% of the sales price towards the closing cost. That sounds like a fantastic deal. Well, 10% of $500,000 home, I mean, that's substantial. Well, in this particular situation, the closing cost came out to be like $10,000. Do you think they gave you that extra 40 grand on there just out of the goodness of their heart? Absolutely not. So there's a little bit of a false incentive to get you to use their lender, get you tied into their contract, get you bound into their contract, and then at that point, they can basically do just whatever they want. New construction is a definite viable option. It's a great option. Having a brand new house is, it's super fun. It's exciting. It's got that new house smell, that new fresh paint, but there's so many things that can potentially go wrong. And the builders are taking advantage of this market right now. They're taking advantage of the ignorance of consumers and buyers. They're pushing the realtors out. They're doing everything they can to get us out of the scene because they pay us a commission for bringing you to them. So, and they're writing that in the contract as well, that, you know, they'll pay, I don't know, 1% of the sales price to the realtor, but you are on your own to pay the rest to them. Now that's something you got to work out with your realtor. Y'all need to sign a contract separate from that, but it's a way that they're squeezing us out. They're trying to increase their margins and make more money. And honestly, it's hurting you guys in the process. So whatever you do, do not go into one of these situations without an attorney, without a realtor, without another set of eyes looking at these contracts, because they will bite you in the ass in the end. Guys, thank you so much for watching this video. Hopefully this helps out. I would love to answer your questions about new construction, about resales, about anything on the market, especially Atlanta related. My contact information is down here. If you have any questions at all, please reach out to me, shoot me a text, shoot me an email. I'd love to hear from you. Love to get you moved here, love to meet you and get you on your way. So again, my name is Anthony LaBorde. I'm a realtor with EXP here in Atlanta, Georgia. You guys have a great day, and until the next video, take care.